This is probably my favorite paper from 2017. It is a paper that was presented at the Canadian Society for Vertebrate Paleontology in August of 2017. And I think it's pretty compelling and that we should look at it. It really confirms my prediction from 4 years earlier that soft cells from dinosaurs are the norm in the fossil record. And it also challenges Dr. Schweitzer in a couple of very interesting areas. The abstract from the Canadian Society of Vertebrate Paleontology, which they published from this 2017 meeting, is a study where they collected 16 dinosaur remains and others from the Dinosaur Park Formation in southern Alberta, supposedly 76 million years old, and it gave them a high rate of tissue preservation on most of the samples, and they were unexpectedly surprised by this. How often have we heard that, folks? But they also studied the depositional environments, and they are countering the claim that only sandstone can wick away the water from these things and keep them preserved over deep time. They also studied some other things like articulation, but they do mention that crystal growths inside the Haversian canal can wall off these tissues and may serve to preserve them. This is really a stunning paper for several reasons. First of all, of course, I mentioned the high rate of tissue preservation out of 15 of these 16 dinosaurs. And again, that it was unexpected, but they used the standard EDTA, typical way of decalcification of bone. And they selected them from 2 different depositional environments, one sandstone, one mudstone. 15 out of the 16 dinosaurs returned soft tissues, and the 16th one, it did not dissolve enough to obtain enough data. That was the Champsosaur vertebra. And they say the slow dissolution is not due to mineralization. No, it is likely due to the high density of cortical bone. So now we're starting some critical thinking here, folks. Now somebody's admitting tacitly that this is bone and it's not mineralized. And they got soft tissue out of it, and they got a lot of it, and they got it out of 15 of the 16 dinosaurs in 2 different depositional environments, and they're surprised by all this. Well, I'm not. That's why I made the prediction 4 years ago that this is extensive, and the norm in the fossil record to find soft tissue in dinosaur bones. And now it's sad to me because I think that we're probably not going to see, and I'll have to search the literature for these authors and see, Phil Curry, he's pretty well known. And so I'm going to look up in the literature and see if there was anything following this. However, the point is the shift to paleoproteomics is going to shift the whole emphasis to molecules and away from cells and tissues. So what they're really saying here is that, come on in, the water's fine. In other words, there's a lot of room for exploration here. Somebody has got to step up and do this. And from what we've seen, these kind of specimens go from Canada all the way down to South America. So there's plenty of digs to go visit. The tissue is there for the taking, and I don't understand why somebody's not as excited about this as I am. Now they make one astounding claim at the end, and this I think is the first really well thought out answer to Schweitzer's iron preservation theory, and that is, this is in bone now, nothing's been permineralized, and they say that crystal growth of several different minerals observed within vessels. Okay, so you know what the vessels are. suggests if Haversian canals are sealed off by precipitated minerals, then tissue may preserve in situ, in place. And so they're going to preserve if they're protected by mineral preservation around them. See? Really cool. Really cool. Now here's what I struggle with. And I'm going to make another prediction here. Well, I'll make two. The first prediction is that I believe the creation journals that we publish on our side of the fence are in decline. Readership is down. In fact, I really don't know of many Christians who read any of the journals at all, let alone in great detail. And so, and this is verified by my experiential observations when I was financial secretary of the Creation Research Society and served on the board of directors for 6 to 7 years. The Creation Research Society quarterly subscription rates were in steady decline the whole time that I served. And so that's my prediction number one. Now here's prediction number two, and a perfect way to counter this. If this laboratory and this work were supported, that would be the first step. But the second and most important step, I believe, because we're not going to get our work published on the other side of the fence. I don't think that they're open to publishing our work in their journals anymore. My case blew that up, right? So I think our best bet is to take care of this ourselves. And so my prediction would be if one of the journals, let's say the Answers Research Journal, fully endorses this work and allows for a design of a systematic set of experiments that would take place in digs across the Americas, that they would give wide berth in their journal to this project and this work and showcase this, that the journal subscription rate would go way up. And I could elaborate further on that, but I think this is just so interesting and the way things are turning out. And I'm really excited to see how the Lord is going to deal with this. And that's between you and Him, because my heart is already resolved. And so, yeah, thanks for listening.